We are excited to announce the beta launch of Render Studio. Onshape users now have the ability to create photorealistic renderings of designs from within the Onshape platform. With this integrated rendering capability, designers and engineers can now create hyper-realistic images using sophisticated materials, textures, and lighting within a high-resolution 360-degree environment, allowing faster, easier communication of design ideas. Onshape Render Studio will initially be launched as a beta capability. During this initial release, we have included Render Studio with all of our professional and enterprise subscriptions, while we continue to refine the experience and the offering. To get started with Render Studio, simply start inside of any Onshape document, and from the Plus menu, choose Render Studio. Here, you will be presented with the Scene menu, where you can select from existing scenes or create a new scene. Choose the part studio or assembly you want to render, selecting a configuration if you have one. Next, set the textilation or display quality that you would like to achieve with the scene. We recommend starting with the default choice, and if you need further refinement, updating the scene later once you have applied your lights and materials. Best practice is to name your scene right away for future recall. Now that we are in the Render Studio, you will see a familiar environment including the view cube in the upper right corner, with a smaller view cube pull-down menu for advanced options like setting perspective and depth of field to simulate professional camera settings. The left side of the screen is occupied by the scene graph, where you can see the part and assembly structure, as well as other scene-related options. In the bottom of the scene is the Appearance and Environment library, populated with hundreds of material choices and HDRI lighting conditions. These can be applied by drag and drop or by pre-selection in the scene graph or graphics area, and then right mouse clicking the material choice. The Materials and Environment library is completely searchable as well, so if you are looking for stainless steel material choices, it will show up by entering a few matching characters. When applying a material texture, you will have the choice of applying this texture to the entire part or to a single face, or group of faces if performing a pre-selection. If browsing through the library, the materials are grouped logically by folder. If you need to leave the scene before rendering your final image, the exit icon is available in the upper right-hand corner, and you will be asked to save your scene for future recall. But what happens if your design changes and you want to update your rendering scene? In this case, we have changed the rim and bolded connections. To perform a geometry or configuration update to your scene, go to the Render Studio tab in your document, and in the Scenes list, you will notice an Actions menu on the right-hand side of the available scenes, where you can open, update, or delete the scene. A great power tip for anybody applying the same material to multiple components is to use the scene graph to filter the selections based on name, in this case selecting all the parts that are of a certain name. There are a number of other tools at the top of your screen for you to explore, including setting the shadow and floor location, background color, and other scene-saving options. Finally, when you are ready to publish the final rendering, you can choose to add the JPEG or PNG graphic with the correct resolution and rendering level, and choose whether you want to add the image to the Onshape document or download the image locally. And here is an example of the final render. Remember, we did all of this without needing an advanced CAD rendering workstation on our desktop. We can't wait to see all the great images of the products made in Onshape out there made with true cloud-native rendering.